Is he heavy? Like, I know, like, you're, like, strong, but, like...
Not really that
Oh,
heavy,
baby.
Simba.
Yeah, the pudding. So cute. Oh. Pretty close. What match did you on?
Limerick, Cork.
Oh, what's the score?
1-2 to 3 points.
Oh.
After 6 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. Oh my God, that's a lot.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a score a minute by my calculations.
I was just going to say that. Oh, that's boy. Oh, goodness. Will you bring him up for a little stroll later?
I will.
Yeah. They're like in your nose. It's like,
Oh, I know, he loves that.
Like a base.
Loves digging for boogers.
He's keeping it clean. He's been lovely. How's your day?
It's alright, sure, I slept in till fucking 12.
Sherlock, you know what time to go to sleep at?
It's bed at like 3.
Not too bad.
3, half 3.
Yeah. I woke up and my telly was off. I don't remember turning it off though, unless...
It might have gone, does it not turn off automatically, no?
It does, like now if you were still streaming, it would stay on. But I think when it goes to the recommended YouTube, I think it does turn off, so that's probably what happened. Thank you.
He was snoring there, John. He's so cute when he's snoring.
Having a little, what is it, siesta? The midday nap?
Siesta, yeah.
Yeah. Look at him. I love how he like tilts his head into you, like he's actually like proper human.
Oh, he knows how to cuddle.
Yeah. Best boy.
I can't really do much else now, Joey, while you're here.
You'd like a hand. Best boy.
Oh, you don't smell.
Cuties.
Barking at.
Okay.
Nobody there, Joey.
It's a ghost.
Anything leave in the garden?
Separate up to move the center beyond the 65 line. Then when the competes arrive, drop down. And they be gently persuaded. He's already scored a goal of 18 points. Going into this first chapter of the match, it's a little bit sharper than the first.
It's really our favorite players today.
That was your mark.
They understand each other. Since the early days of playing in the hurling field in Patrickswell, they give each other a high five and they can still understand each other when they're grown men playing for their county.
They can, yeah, and it's all came this block down from Kyle Hayes there again. Really, really good eye on the ball. And Galan gave the thumbs up there, Marty, to the boys as they led it in. He was happy that the ball was delivered, no messing. We'll do the rest inside here, and great skill from Keane Lynch, obviously. Create the opportunity now for the Galan.
I mentioned Hurler of the Year 2 years ago. This man was Hurler of the Year. Harry Galan, 4 times an All-Star. Hits it straight over. Patrick Collins' crossbar. Limerick look quite dangerous when the ball is not too fast. Now, trying to see what caught that off. Shane Barrett. Speedy Gonzalez and Barrett. Gets an opportunity to fly through. Great back down, great everything up there. The champions seek inside up for this match. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, they know they have to get touch tight all the time with Cork. The eye of the ball here. They're really, really well. The ball's not back good. You know, the defender will get back a bit, but he pushed in on him. Every turnover comes that play here.
Jim Ashworth. This morning,
Get the puck out of the way quickly with the players inside the 21.
Part of that song there. That's the caliber of quality that's on view here this afternoon. The referee Gordon is going to discuss it. He's giving a picture Limerick. Seems to be indicating there was a jersey pulled by Owen Cadigan, Owen Downey, I should say. And that's going to be a free in for Limerick.
Yeah, he was all over him. Right there, just pulled back again. It's the other end of the pitch going to be the goal for Cork 1-on-1, and down here at this end the same way. Both teams playing with great bravery, leaving trust in their inside defenders to handle it. Sometimes it'll go wrong like that.
I'm explaining to Owen Downey the reason for the free. In fairness, I compliment the referees, both football and hurling, when they continue to communicate with the players and inform them of why the decision was made. It helps everybody. Harry Gillan has already scored a goal in the point. Never in any doubt that he thinks of Hanley to 1-2. Possession, Limerick put the pressure on Ian Lynch, going short, this time down to Tom Morrissey. There's a ball. 3 in a row, 3 shots to go, 3 points. Mark Coleman had it. Huge pressure for Limerick.
No one did want Colin to go along like this to fuck out, but they were certainly turning them over. They go short.
Mark Coleman scored now, so we're heading towards 15. Ball is not pushing back. Looking for someone. You know what the football is. Right, man. I might have started this way. I'm going to never come back. It's the ball is not there. Someone is a better man. Get in there. Don't have to play.
Yeah, I think Martin did up about 5 days. They say why you don't want to every team to watch that free ball over again. He had it against Acton. And then strong enough not to give the ball away and make sure he finds it right forward.
Barry Lynch. Want to take this? So Liberty driving into Harry Gillan and David Reedy and company. David Reedy comes across, looking around, sends it back into the midfield area towards the road Hegarty. Plenty of red and white jerseys there. Brian Walsh is available in front of the McNaghy stand. Looking for it, gathered it. There's the pressure from Limerick again. They're really hungry.
Four green jerseys again, Marty. We used to see this a couple of years ago from Limerick, right in the middle turns the chance that they're on in the flash of Donoghue again. You can see how much it means to Limerick here. The last 18 months to 2 years or so, Cork have been their fitness place. It's coming here on a mission now in early days. They're going really, really well.
Jimmer Burns takes a shot. Durham Higgledy is on mark. Cornwall ball watching. It's not a great effort from Higgledy. It's gone wide. That's Limerick scored wide in the match. By his own very high standards, he didn't fire on that shot. So there's a bell. Still back there forward. So it's the Limerick inside the line. Look back there to the two. Good ball up by Brian Hayes. Inside the 30 million, Jimmer the angle, but he scores. Liverpool some points. It's Liverpool, which got the Liverpool confidence. 1-6. Liverpool 4 points in one. And this shot from Ryan from Fair. Straight from Mickey Grace from one.
That makes a real flow here. I think we got that inside forward.
Dominic Lynch. It might be back to Barry Nash again. It's not like that. You see by the ball. Where's the goal? Number 10 O'Brien. Number 20 is going to go for Philip. Comes up for opportunity. Stay on the line. The back for him. Knows his whistle. Give it a free to England.
Yeah, come back to O'Brien and get the issue. Over that Limerick side there. Like I say, that the O'Brien comes in here. That 1v1 again, gets in behind Downey. He's away then. Coleman comes in. Show where the free was supposed to be tough from Downey, but in fairness, Coleman, he got back on the line really, really well. It's that 1v1 inside again. Whenever it goes in, there's alarm bells ringing for that man in the shot, Patrick Collins. He's inside defenders.
18 minutes gone. I have to say the signs are a bit ominous.
Yeah, a bit, but there is a bit of a breeze there as well, Martin, to be fair. And Cork will be doing the exact same thing in the second half. They'll be getting long deliveries in, and Hayes will be the ones inside then, with maybe Connolly who are reaching the wars like Galan and O'Brien are at the moment.
Limerick 1 goal and 7 points. Cork 4 points. 1 goal and 8 actually. Cork 4 points.
There's a match going down the I think give them one last warning there. Persistent foul, and the last thing County wants now is to get a yellow card.
Little 1-2 between Sean McDonough and Patrick Collins. Trying to get the ball up to the full forward line, but the Limerick backs have been really impressive. Will O'Donoghue giving it over towards David Reedy. As Limerick work the ball out using attacks. Vegas effectively. And an English beautiful understanding of Mike Hicks. He's the back corner back. Straight over the top. Wonderful score. It's no real leader pace in the scoring, but there's neither for them for what a score from the team member. He keeps on their own after the play. It's not that on the back.
It's going into that phase. Once it gets off that.
Limerick fast the ball. In the opening 20 minutes. 1-9, 4 points. Back in the attack again. Not to win. Trying to chase numbers. Shane O'Brien. Conservative to turn. Where's first scoring again?
On that ball right up the pitch, up the pitch. They're playing against the breeze. They're playing in the Limerick half. The pitch itself has been mad, but then you come back down the gate with the Limerick half forward line. There's just too much space around that middle forward at the ball. The ball down the street, jerseys everywhere.
Yeah, close.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Will you be able to get a search from your TV?
Alright.
aggression up there. It was always on for Cork inside 1v1. Mike Casey's just caught for tugging, a little bit like what Downey has to do up the other end, or Niall O'Leary or Donohoe. Just getting a kick in there. Pat Ryan has an issue there on his own puck out. Every time they lose it, Limerick are running down their throat. He's having a chat there with Ethan Toomey. I'd say to tell him, get back towards our goals. You're too far up the pitch.
Patrick Horgan gets his second point of the game. Great start for John Kiley and his Limerick team. The amount of space that Limerick have is mind-boggling, really, in this first half. I know Brendan did highlight it again, but right from the start, I've been saying it myself, the amount of space is huge.
Yeah, it's massive. And you see it when Morrissey and Hegarty playing there, he is half back. Cork half forwards are playing 2, I said, far up the pitch. And what's happening now is there's space all over the place. We have one there, all right.
Well, David Burns knew he was going to be hooked or blocked, so he tried to hand pass it, but it was an illegal pass, so it's a free for Cork. Then Patrick Horgan take the grip.
Yeah, Shane Barrett has been really well there. He got back and put the kind of pressure on that you need to. We haven't really seen in the last 15, 16 minutes or so of the half, so they can really take over.
Patrick Horgan going to take this. 36 years of age, 5th of May. Organized, pleased with the first half performance. London, his debut against Tipperary back in 2008. This time, disappointed. Second point match for Cork. Win. To win this occasion, Patrick Horgan. Looking for the run. It's more than 1 minute. Satisfying without
Actually, I've seen the. I don't know when we watched it together, or did you send it to me, or did I send it to you? It was a TikTok where it was like.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and why you look like you've just taken on a gladiator and lost? Oh, I guess how much did I drink last night? Oh, and since you seem to be in a hurry, just attach the pulley to the rope over the... But don't... All right.
Ave. A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
Salve.
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?" The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change. You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here? Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you? Why is that? The memes? What are the memes? So, a bit like Egyptian hieroglyphs, then? So your people make hieroglyphics depicting this accursed character, the one they call Karen. I wonder if... No. I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember, and see if you notice any patterns. Good. Thank you. But please be careful. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you, too. Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the Golden Rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you? Thank you. Now, go and follow the thread of truth through this labyrinth, and come back to me if you discover any patterns. I don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another. I'm quite sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We asked for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long. Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living a humble life in a small town. One night, the town gets a visit from a couple of vagrants. They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night. Of course, being vagrants, they're turned away sharply from house after house, 1,000 in all, until finally they come to the little cottage where Baucis and Philemon lived. Now, the kind old couple had very little to offer, but nevertheless, they invite these strangers into their house and offer them food, wine, and a place to stay. Immediately, the guests make themselves at home. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old lady, begins to worry they're going to run out. And then she notices something strange. Her wine pitcher keeps refilling itself, as if by magic. Realizing only a select few possess such powers, says to her husband, Philemon, "I think these men are gods in disguise." Immediately the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine, and the vagrants metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury, the trickster god. They confide they didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, "You have passed our test, but everyone else in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it, except you, who we will grant a wish." So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely, and they receive their wish, which is for eternity together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves. A cynic philosopher might take that view, but it's not entirely invalid, I suppose. Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
What are you doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She's been poisoned. She needs the resin of a plant called Silphium, but that Culus cubulatus Decius won't give it to me. It's too late. She just slipped away. No, now's fine. I can't afford to wallow here. And I need the distraction. What's on your mind? She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally I'd treat her with resin of Silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Decius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall, but there's no way I can do that down here with the golden rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule. or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath. Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do. Get me that silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, not even the golden rule will stop me from marching up to that Genetricum Fututo and scratching his eyes out. I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in ever since she disappeared. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable all the time. But I'd rather take this on myself than let one of you lot mess it up. My husband and I moved to Rome from Caesarea. He embraced the Roman way more than I would have liked and turned into an awful philanderer. I would have divorced him and demanded the return of my dowry, but I knew he would sooner have me killed than give me my right. So I waited for the right time to take what was mine and disappear. And then the fires came. As he prepared to evacuate our villa, I gathered our most precious belongings, coins and gemstones, and the moment his back was turned, I ran. I could barely see for the smoke, and the streets were full of people trampling each other. I ran for the river, like everyone else, and leapt in. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a riverbank, not far from here. It's all right. Say what you will about this place. At least my fornicating husband will never find me. And while there's no shortage of snakes here, at least with the golden rule, they have to try to be discreet about it. Oh, this shrine was in use as a clinic long before any of us arrived here. Kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple of the god of disease. But the god who inflicts a curse is also the only god who can undo it. So I suppose praying to Apollo for healing kind of makes sense. Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good too, until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. This changes everything, she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed and he's in constant pain. I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. And he's a little bit scary. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off, and I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out, and you know what that means. I just know Nevia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace. Thanks, I suppose. I wish. Some people here need proper medical care, not the half-baked, hanging by a thread excuse for treatment I'm giving them. Just don't get sick or injured here. I'll do my best to treat you, but I'm out of my depth and dangerously short on everything you can imagine. A city without sin might sound good on paper, but whoever dreamt it up didn't think it through. Maybe it was an attempt to create some kind of utopia. But snakes like Decius will always find loopholes to exploit. And what can we do about it? Absolutely nothing. In some ways, we are worse off because we can't take the law into our own hands. Oh no. Sorry, I don't mean to worry you, but no, that is definitely not normal. There was one other person who claimed she could hear the statues talking to her. But that was Nevia, and she went a little mad. Well, she used to run until she said this, the last, and then but one of, he's become so, thanks, I said. Sure, what do you want to, do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have. Hemlock, I believe. I haven't seen her in months. She's not allowed to leave. Gladly. Well, come. May Apollo keep you safe.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step. Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but... family's from Seleucia on Tigris. Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads. Same way as everyone else. Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious? Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. If you were dealing with what I... Nobody is supposed to know about that. Gah. Look, I haven't been at my... I get stirred up by things that shouldn't bother me, and... You want to help me? Do what Lucre... You... What about... If I did, do you think we'd be having... I'll tell you this much. Then you know what I'm talking about. I mean, all these people just bumble along like nothing's wrong. Well, we're one bad decision away from being wiped out. Like the last lot of... Seems like I'm the only one ready for what's coming. I don't know. But did you... Of course I... Whatever.
Wonder how much one of these statues is worth on the outside. Whatever's in that great temple up there on the bluff, I bet it's worth a fortune. How'd you do? Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Dacius. Terrible shame what happened to Yulia, but we just have to carry on, don't we? You mean, how did I end up here? That is a lengthy tale. All right. Well, you see, I'm in the business of procuring rare and precious objects liberated from the enemies of Rome. Mostly sculptures, vases, the occasional slave, fetch a magnificent price in Roman high society. Had myself a nice little shop in Rome, just off the Forum. Lots of foot traffic and close to the docks. Good place to be when the fires broke out. See, about 7 months ago, half of Rome caught on fire. Everyone who couldn't get to an outer gate was running for the river, open to escape by barge. So I gathered my coins and some priceless vases into a cart and had my most loyal slave girl, pretty young thing named Acantha, push it for me. All the way down to the river, I'm elbowing for a stampede of people, turning back now and then to make sure she hasn't legged it with my valuables. But, to my surprise, we make it, and I see this barge loading up, and it's so full it's almost sinking. But the captain's happy to take my coin, so I start boarding, and then he puts his hand on my chest and he says, "No, too heavy. The cart or the girl." So I did what anyone would have done. Of course I chose the cart. I mean, I can always buy a new slave girl if I still have my money. So I put my hand on the cart, and I guess she realised what was happening because those pretty black eyes of hers go all wide. And in one swift motion, she topples the whole bloody thing into the Tiber. No, I dived in after it, of course. Aren't you paying attention? That was a bloody fortune. Only, I guess I must have hit my head or something, because everything went black. When I came to, I'd washed up on the riverbank, not far from here, with nothing in the world but a single silver coin. Thank you, friend. It turns out it might have been a stroke of good fortune, because this place is a veritable treasure trove. Look around you. There must be more gold in here than in the treasury of Rome. If I can just figure out how to get it out of here. I'm afraid not. If you're desperate, I did hear that Aurelia down at the tavern claims to know of a way out, but I'm not sure I trust her. Some people here are a little shady for my liking. It's terrible for inflation is what it is. There's so much gold just lying around, it's practically worthless. At least down here. Of course, I have an idea for generating real wealth, but what I need is a bow. Just a simple composite bow. I've scoured this city from top to bottom with no luck. But if you happen to find one, bring it to me and we'll talk. Thank you, friend. Certainly. All I ask is a reasonable price of 1,000 denarii. That's hardly my concern. But if you get a job, work hard... Very well. Perhaps I can interest you in something... Very well. Another time.
For the last time, Dacius, I'm not making you a bow.
Welcome to my humble store. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of... and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Then you are an explorer, like me. Wonderful. You must have many... We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require... My story? How kind of you to ask. You mean to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule, and so few... I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind... I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree? A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would... I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares. And drowning in coin, I decided to celebrate. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few, and we began making our way through some of the most... Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself... This time, I remember people screaming. Then, when I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the bank. Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am. Anything you like. Shh. Have you not been told about... Oh, then I suppose this... Aha, you are wit. Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I escape? It is on... And scaling the chasm wall is out of the question. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the... See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up... They have. I am getting to that. There was an attempt, made by resourceful fellows who lived here some years ago. They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they heard a godlike voice. So it seems that to merely attempt escape is to invite the wrath of... Ah, yes. Have you... When Demeter, the instead, innocent... So yes. If we are to survive, avoid... It does, for even... Sadly... But for all their grim and haunting I hope that...
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Salve, friend. Mind telling... Oh.
Greetings and salutations.
What are you doing in here? She needs... What? Quick, Yulia. Yulia. Hopefully in a moment she... That was extraordinary. How did you know she needed this? Look, if you don't want to tell me, I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. That was like the gods. You just saved a person's life, and you should be proud of yourself. She might even be able to thank you herself in a few moments. And maybe she can tell us who poisoned her. In the meantime, I'm... Of course, just there. All better.
Salve. Salve, stranger. Very well. Hey, Virgil, how much would you want to make me a bow?
For the last time, Dacius, I'm not making you a bow.
But why?
You know why.
But how am I going to defend myself against someone else with a weapon?
There are no other weapons in the city. We all went along with the magistrate's weapons ban, so it wouldn't be an issue.
That's why I've got to get in first before someone else beats me to it.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. I hear we have you to thank for saving Julia's life. Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people, that kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place. Oh, I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek. I'm not sure. It could mean that the Romans, who first started building here, were just copying Greek architecture, which they do all the time. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell. Gladly. Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the Great Temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it... Hey, not so loud. Just, I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. You mean the Great Temple? Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down, unfortunately, someone else. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? Unless somebody figures out a way. Of course. You wouldn't believe how often the new ones ask that question. There are much worse places to live out your days. You might have a few sleep, but once you get used to the fear, knowing... Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in Noviomagus. They weren't nearly as tall. Some people say it's divine, the work of a god, but I'm not so sure. I mean, once you've been here long enough, you'll notice, which means one of two things. Either, and I'm pretty sure. Good. Then I hope you'll agree that there are only two ways of dealing with. The first is to leave. The second... Perhaps not. But it's best if I say no more, but... Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company. Hey, nothing gets by you, huh? Sorry, that was mean. Yes, I like men. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagus, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked, but that kind of fear eats away at you slowly. And needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway, my openness didn't go down well enough. Nice of you to say, but in any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, or at least I thought that was... it's not just graffiti. The strange thing is, I've never really been interested in any of the men here. If I had to guess... Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he... If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually... What? Really? I'm glad you arrived when you did. Someone who lives or works in the forum, but if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. Nice to talk.
Hello? Hello? My name's Dooley. I live here now because I got in trouble and they said they had to lock me up. I don't know. I don't remember. Yes, but I was... They said I did it. More than once. But I can't remember. Yes. They said I have to live here now, and gave me this letter. What does it say? My treasure! My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then, he died. It was very sad. He said if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns. But when I went up to the high one, now nobody looks after me. Except my friend Galerius. And Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady. Hannibal said I shouldn't give it to anyone I didn't trust. Galerius already tried. What about the rules? Like, Galerius, if you help make him magistrate, he can get me out of here. Hannibal said it was in the cisterns. You're going to let me out? Galerius, or what about, like, Hannibal? Gold? My friend Hannibal he said he gave me all I now know. Bye-bye.
May Apollo keep you safe.
Oh, it's you. Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. But was there something you wanted? As much as I'm grateful that you tried to help me. The Golden Rule. That's the least of my worries. Please, just... persistent as Nemesis, aren't you? All right. I'd been here about a week when it dawned on me I'd be trapped here for the rest of my life. I could hardly breathe, and I knew I had to get out somehow. So when my new friend Aurelia offered me a secret way out, I would have done anything. And then I learned her asking price. 1,000 denarii. She was supposed to be my friend. I told her it would take me years to save up that much. So she suggested I take out a loan from Malleolus. And I did. I had to sign an agreement, saying I'd work off the debt over 30 years. But I figured I'd be out of here so soon it wouldn't matter. I paid Aurelia, and she gave me her so-called way out. Do you want to know what it was? Hemlock. It's a deadly poison made... Drink this, she said. She pointed to a sign on her tab. She immediately told Malleolus I'd tried. In fact, he just thanked her. And that's what I said. I went to Sentius and begged for help, but he said the law was clear. I thought about resisting too. But Malleolus said if I didn't submit, I'd break the Golden Rule. And I couldn't be responsible for all those deaths, so he locked me in his villa. Confiscated everything I owned as collateral, and made me wear immodest, humiliating outfits while I worked day in, day out. His wife Claudia was just as bad. She sent me to work on an endless stream of futile... I'd be on my hands and knees, scrubbing the floor clean for hours. Those two took everything from me. My hemlock. I just wanted it to be over. But it seems... I brought it on myself. I trusted one of the most callous human... When I've recovered, I expect their thug Domitius will come for me. He'll escort. Only this time, I won't be able to lull myself to sleep at night with the thought. Honestly, it would have been better if the poison had been allowed to run its course. I doubt it. It seems this is the fate, at least until someone breaks the goal. A lot. But it doesn't matter. He's in exactly the same position as I am. He's probably already thrown himself from the... If so, I'd never be able to live with myself. I doubt you could make it up to the bluff. I don't know who you are. All right. You mean my life story? Oh, well, our father found good husbands for my sisters, but I wasn't, cut out for that kind of life. So he found me a job as a scribe for a prominent merchant. It was a good life for a while. Until we must have had 100 workers passing buckets of water. But they fell on deaf ears. The fire was relentless. My employer told me to grab what valuables I could and flee for the Tiber. I remember diving into the river, and then... the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the riverbank not far from here. Thank you. But to be honest, sometimes I think dying... If that's your idea... I know what kind of person you...
Help! You have to do something! A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's gonna break the golden rule. Thank you. Here, what? Ugh. The shrine is collapsing!
Fabia, no! Oh God, she's dead! Did anyone see that? The whole shrine just collapsed on her! Oh, Fabia, why did you have to go in there? Poor sweet girl. I can't believe she is dead. Fab, the gods are cruel and unjust. She was like...
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as... I'm not sure I believe that. I am here with orders from Emperor Nero him. So, if you tell me the truth, I will allow you to live. But if you lie to me, or... is that understood? Thank. Now tell me, who... A small community. I was told Quinctius was a cultist, but I know... You say that, but if you're not a cult, then why go... So you admit you're... Threatening me is not going to help you. That sounds an awful... And I saw the inscription saying, the many shall suffer for the sins of the... a distinction... You've clearly been in... Now tell me... Where did you lot get enough gold? You lot are practicing Yes, because I'm the real villain here. It's all clear to me now. The secret sanctuary, the indoctrination. What baffles me is how a person can... However, you still have a chance to redeem your... Do you have any last words? Aha, I knew it. Now, once I'm done with you, and I can think of...
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
No! What have you done, you fool?
Salve, friend. Oh, sounds sick. Yulia? I'll go.